Oh man, a team up of all the Netflix heroes. I don't know if I can handle this on my own. Sexy Matt Action Team, assemble! Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard. Drunk unboxing mask. Oh yes, the comics, no. Actually, you know what, guys? I think I can handle this on my own.
Oh, that's fucking bullshit.
This is no student orthodox.
Fucking bullshit.
Hey everybody, Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard here. It's finally here, the build-up of all the Netflix heroes, the Defenders. What I like, what I dislike, how does it tie into the greater Marvel Cinematic Universe? Well, let's talk about it. Before we get into the review proper, let me give you my hierarchy of what we've got from Marvel in 2017 so far. So at the top of the list, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I love this movie. It's so fantastic. Can't get enough of it. It's awesome. And right under that, very close second, Spider-Man Homecoming. I had a lot of fun with it. Very little complaints. It was fantastic. I just think Guardians edged it out just a little bit. And then a wide gap between, because next we have Iron Fist. It wasn't the worst thing ever, but it wasn't the best thing ever. But under Iron Fist is the worst thing ever. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4. Why did they get a Season 5? Stop it. I'm done. Just stop it. So where does the Defenders fit on this list? Well, let's talk about it. Of course, this is the Defenders by name only, because the original Defenders team was Hulk, Doctor Strange, and Namor, and then eventually incorporating the Silver Surfer, and kind of had a bit of a rotating roster. But basically, this is just the Netflix Avengers. It's not really the Defenders, but they just kind of grabbed that name, which is fine. It works. So let's talk about the characters. Of course, we have all our returning Netflix heroes, so let's start with the guy that started it off, Daredevil. So Charlie Cox, of course, is back playing Daredevil, and he's left off from where Season 2 left off, where he's not really being Daredevil anymore. He's trying to rebuild his practice by himself because Foggy and him had their falling out. And he's a little bit depressed, but still trying to, be himself, but worried he can do a little bit more since he's not really being Daredevil anymore. Charlie knocks it out of the park again. Daredevil is awesome, has some great fighting scenes, is just really awesome. And obviously you've seen from the trailers and all the, panels and whatnot, Elektra is back and he has to deal with the fact of, girl that he loved is back from the dead, and that's a little crazy. So there's a lot of him dealing with that, as well as, trusting people once again, because, he's had a fallout with all of his friends. He's not even really seeing Karen Page anymore. But he works well. I enjoyed what he did. Charlie Cox just kills it again on this show. Fantastic. And of course, we have the beautiful, talented, amazing Kristen Ritter is back playing the smart aleck detective Jessica Jones. And let's just take a moment to appreciate how beautiful Kristen Ritter is.
I feel good when I know you'll be around.
So beautiful. Anyways, so she's, back, sort of trying to get her detective agency back after her events in Season 1, but kind of dealing with being a loner still. And she really, kicks in the teeth of this team up. She's calling out everyone's bullshit, coming up with all sorts of snarky remarks, being a general kind of pain in the ass, and it fits her really well. every time this series kind of gets a little too crazy, she kicks it back down to the ground. And I like her doing that. Some really good snark. I really like what she did there. I had a lot of fun with her. No real complaints. It's kind of funny seeing her, with Daredevil and Iron Fist, where they got all their martial arts and she's just slugging people. That's kind of great because she has no fighting style. She just slugs people. On top of, she even makes a comment like, "Am I the only person that doesn't know karate?" And that was great. I really enjoyed her in this show, of course. I'm slightly biased, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, she is fantastic. And the hero of Harlem is back, Luke Cage, still in jail from his previous season. And I think it's a little thin about how they get him out of jail. Basically, they just needed to get him out of jail to be in the Defenders. So they just kind of solved that really quickly. And that was a little weak, to just kind of be like, well, we need him. Just get him out of jail. Doesn't matter. Just get him out of jail. But he is very up with, being in this team up. He knows he has to protect the people. He's got a great attitude. I really love what he's doing in this. It's so fantastic. And Luke Cage's relationship with Jessica Jones is played out amazingly, because obviously they had their relationship. But they call out each other's bullshit on it, and it's really good, and it's just done very well, because it's, he goes, "Well, you never called me," and she goes, "Well, you could have called me too," and he's like, "Yeah, we're both assholes. We're terrible at this." And so it's kind of, very adult. Just like, yeah, we suck at doing this. I didn't really want to deal with this, and this isn't the time to deal with it now. And so that is done. It's very adult, and just like, we don't have to deal with this. We got, a world-ending crisis on our hands. Let's deal with our relationship later. So that was done really well. And Luke Cage just kicks some ass and is, Mike Coulter just kills it. I love what he does in this. He's fantastic. Then on the other hand, we have Iron Fist, who sucks. All your complaints about him from the first season are very prevalent here. His fist only works when the, script calls for it. He is a whiny bitch. He sucks. He is the worst. He drags this whole thing down. They did nothing to help out his character. He sucks. They do some stuff with him with Luke Cage, kind of giving their relationship, hinting at towards how much they teamed up in the comics. But he just, in the end, there's one specific episode, you're all going to know it once you see it, where you're just like, shut up, Iron Fist, shut up, just shut up. And yeah, that's Iron Fist. He sucks. And our villain over the season, of course, is the Hand. Dealing that, Iron Fist has dealt with them, Daredevil's dealt with them. They're a very prevalent force within New York. So obviously having the Hand made sense as a villain, although I am slightly getting tired of everything being the Hand. But it makes sense here, so I give it a little leeway. And the Hand's weapon of choice, of course, is Elektra. She is basically their main weapon to, deal with their problems that are coming up. I won't go into too many details for spoilers, but she is like their main weapon. She kicks some real ass. I like what she does, but there is a weird turn at like the second to last, or maybe this second to last episode, where she like turns on a dime. It's really weird. I don't know if there's much building up to it. There was a little, so might account. I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. But her action scenes were great. She was a force that needed to be dealt with, as well as the Hand. They really build them up as a very awesome force that, of course, we need to have these four heroes come against. So that was dealt out very well. And we got the return of many, many, many side characters. We got Colleen Wing, Stick, Madame Gao, Foggy, Misty Knight, Trish Walker, Karen Page, the Night Nurse, and Malcolm, all from each other's various seasons. No Kingpin, though. Interesting. But anyways, there was actually a scene where we actually got to see almost all these people in one room together, and I don't know if that was clever or what that was. I don't know how I feel about it. It might have been pandering, but it could have been clever to see how far. I don't know. I don't know. It was weird, but there's definitely a full scene where you have almost everybody in one room together, like all the side characters. Like this is the sidekick meetup time. Interesting. So what worked well about the Defenders? Well, the first main thing I noticed was the build-up and the starting of this season and the build-up to the actual team-up. The first episode, none of them meet at all. It is just where they are from their previous seasons and, you know, what's going to tie them to make them want to team up. It's done really well, and the team-up is very organic. It's something that they took advantage of being able to have 8 hours to do rather than, you know, of course, the Avengers having only 2 hours to do this. So we got to see, you know, where are they now, remind us what happened from the previous seasons, and get us all to come together. And I liked how they did that. It was a very good build-up to it. Not too fast, but not too slow. And overall, the camaraderie of the entire team was done really well. Of course, again, 8 hours opposed to the Avengers 2 hours, but you get to really see the relationships with each other. How does Jessica Jones work with Daredevil? How does Luke Cage work with Iron Fist? How does Jessica Jones work with, you know, Iron Fist? Where does this all fit? Who knows what? Who feels what about who? It's really cool, and you get to really build up this team, and you get to really see them come together as a team. And it's also really cool to see all their different fighting styles. You know, there's a few scenes where they're all fighting together, and you got Jessica just slugging people. You know, Iron Fist and Daredevil just, you know, doing all their martial arts and flips and kicks, and Luke Cage just tossing people. It's really cool to see, you know, how they work and what, you know, advantages each one's has, and how taking, you know, using their skills to their best abilities and things like that. It's done really awesome, and I like that a lot. The camaraderie of the team is fantastic. The other thing I really liked is the worry of this season I had is how are we going to have a problem that we need to have these 4 people come together to fix that doesn't feel like, you know, Captain America should take notice or Iron Man should take notice, you know, and just bringing that normal phase 2 problem of where's Iron Man, where's Thor kind of thing. But I think they did it really well. They kept it small, but it was big enough and a big enough threat that we needed these 4 heroes together. But it didn't feel like it was world ending to where we need to get the Avengers involved. They've definitely really got a big balance of that. Being that the Hand is such an underground organization, it worked out really well, and I like that balance they struck. I enjoyed that a lot. And last thing I really want to talk about is actually something I always complain about, but I think they sort of fix in this. And that is its ties to the wider Marvel Cinematic Universe. Usually I complain that we need to have more ties. This one actually dials back the ties, but it almost works in its favor. It doesn't feel like it's drugged down by having to throw in more Easter eggs because we have so much already going on. And I think the fact that it's 8 episodes helps that a lot. And I think maybe the times in the other shows where they would mention something from the greater universe, it would just remind you that, you know, hey, why isn't Iron Man here then? Why isn't Captain America here? I think not having as many ties actually plays to its advantage. And I really like that. It's mostly just tying into all the Netflix things, and they do a really good job doing that. So that is fantastic. But no show is perfect. Where does the Defenders fall short? Well, like I said before, Iron Fist is where they fall short. He sucks. They didn't fix his character at all. It's all the same issues that you had previous. He sucks. It's just, that's it. I don't know how they could fix him, but we should just, throw him in Kunlun and just leave him there. We don't need him anymore. Just get rid of Iron Fist for a while. The other problem I had is, of course, we have to compare this to the Avengers, because it's the same idea of individual movies building up to one giant team-up. These are all individual shows building up to one giant team-up. And it didn't feel as grand or as epic as the Avengers did. The Avengers is like, holy crap, they're all together, this is great. And I don't know if it's just because we've started seeing this more often, even in the even in the DC stuff. We've seen the Avengers team up a bunch. Maybe it's just sort of worn thin, but it didn't feel as grand to be like, oh my god, they're all together. There was times, The hallway scene, which we've seen in the trailers, is one of those like, yeah, kind of moments, but overall it didn't feel like this grand story. It felt more like just another cog in the Netflix wheel. We're just going to finish this, then we're moving on to the next thing, moving on to the next thing. We're just moving along. So I think that, I don't know again how they would fix that, but it just didn't feel as grand as it should have been. Along with that, more superheroes fighting each other, and I'm getting a lot of fatigue of that. You know, the Avengers fought before they teamed up. We had Batman v Superman, and we had Civil War. Can't we all just get along, guys? I'm just... The fun of, like, saying, you know, who would win between Luke Cage and Iron Fist? The fun of that is that it would never actually happen, so that's why it's a fun debate. But now you're just giving it to us, and, you know, it's not as fun. I want to see these guys just team up and be friends, be super friends. I guess I'm just really fatigued with seeing superheroes fight each other. Let's just get along, guys. Yeah, that was a thing. And finally, Daredevil's costume. He is the only one in costume, and it feels very out of place. Obviously, you couldn't not have him in costume, being that he needs the protection and stuff, but it's really weird when Jessica Jones is just clothes, Luke Cage is just clothes, Iron Fist is just clothes, and he's in a costume. I don't know. Again, I don't know how they would fix that, being that Jessica Jones has no real costume. I mean, before she became a detective, she was Jewel and she had a costume. But they made fun of that in the first season, and I don't know if they should really bring that back. Anyways, Luke Cage is just, at least nowadays, is just a yellow t-shirt, black pants, and sometimes a chain belt. Iron Fist does have a costume, which we didn't get. So it feels out of place that he's the only one in costume. I don't know if giving Iron Fist the costume would have helped that out. I was kind of slightly in the back of my mind hoping Daredevil would have taken all the people to the Stiltman to get costumes made, for armor. But then Luke Cage doesn't really need armor. Jessica Jones needs it, but she wouldn't wear it. So I don't know. But it felt very weird to have one guy in costume and no one else. It was very weird. On top of his costume didn't look very good. I don't know if it's a new design or if it's the same one from Season 2 or what happened there, but it doesn't look very good. Maybe they just show it more light this time and it looks weird, kind of like when you see Batman in Dark Knight Rises in the light. You're like, that suit kind of looks shitty. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. But it didn't look very good. But it's time to get into some spoilers. It's time for spoilers. Click on this time code here if you want to skip spoilers, because I'm doing season-ending spoilers now. So if you haven't seen the show, skip ahead, please. So, Daredevil dies. Or does he? Yeah, Daredevil dies but then doesn't. It was really interesting because when I saw them do that, I was like, holy shit, they're actually doing this. And like kind of, felt some feelings and was like, oh, holy crap, like this is big. Wow, I can't believe they... And then they retcon it at the end. Which, I mean, in a way it makes sense because he wasn't in the main tunnel that collapsed. But it's still like, no one can die in the Marvel Universe. Everyone comes back and it's frustrating because it takes away a lot of the stakes where it's like, nah, he didn't really die. He didn't actually die. He's going to come back. Like, Yondu's gonna come back. Watch. Yondu's coming back. I guarantee it. But, yeah, that, it was good and then went bad really quickly. Like, I was really excited that they did it. Not that I hate his character or anything, but just, like, they did it in an awesome way. He sacrificed himself, but no, he's not actually dead. So, I'm very torn on that. Because I don't know if we were promised a Daredevil Season 3 yet, but, that was weird. I don't know. I don't know about that. But on a better note, Misty Knight loses her arm, and they hint very much towards her robotic arm, which is awesome because they had a lot of strong moments between Iron Fist and Luke Cage. And I think Misty Knight also losing her arm and Colleen Wing having a bit of a subplot of her feeling useless, but the fact she can still fight might lead to a Heroes for Hire show. That is just another team up of Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Colleen Wing, and Misty Knight. I think that would be really awesome because I think in the movies, the Avengers came together, and now they're just the Avengers. They have their tower. Everyone knows the Avengers. It's the Avengers. I think this would be really cool to do that different, where the show's just called the Defenders, but they don't become the Defenders. They're just teamed up this season. They go out their separate ways and maybe have some other team-ups, and this would be a cool team-up. Instead of having an Iron Fist Season 2, which I think they are still doing. But instead of doing that, do a Heroes for Hire with, Luke Cage, Colleen Wing, Iron Fist, and Misty Knight. That'd be really cool. Just a secondary team-up. Have them do their thing and then break up again. Maybe a few years down the line, do Defenders Season 2. That's the way I'd like to see it play out. I don't know if it will, but I think that'd be a really cool idea, and hopefully they're building towards that. But some awesome things. And although it seemed like they hinted at it towards one of the trailers, but no Punisher. No Punisher to be seen. Obviously, he's getting his season coming up sometime soon, I think. But no Punisher. I kind of like that because there's a lot already going on. He might have added too much, but they sort of hinted at him being in there, so I don't know. I really don't know. But good on Punisher. But we do get the teaser for his show at the end of the season, and it looks pretty awesome. I really like this Punisher, so I'm glad we get more of him. But let's wrap this up. In the end, this show was a lot of fun and a good continuation of all the Netflix things building into future Netflix things. We get Jessica Jones Season 2's filming right now. Punisher's just about done. We're getting some new... it's a good lead into that. It could have been better, could have been a little bit more epic, and Iron Fist could not suck as much. So it's not perfect. It's probably not even up to the standard of Daredevil Season 1, but it is a solid show, and the fact that they dwindled it down to 8 episodes was great. Really, the only way to make that any longer would have been to have each hero have their own individual episode first, building into it, which I guess could have worked, but I think the tight 8 episodes really worked to its advantage. It didn't feel like there was any waste episodes. Everything built into it, and it was done very well, and it was a fantastic show. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see what happens to these heroes next. So, it was really good. I suggest you watch it. That's The Defenders. I'm Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard. Until next time, hold on to your hold slots.